Good morning, City Side. Happy Sunday to you. We're heating up in Chicago, friends. We are heating up out of the negative digits. And of course, every Sunday, I'm going to meet you there. Thank you, Keith. I love that you've got the clapping energy already. Come on, City Side, put your hands together. There's a place that I often go where I can find peace and rest my soul. Come on, everybody, I'm gonna meet you there. That's right. There's a place that clears my mind, so close, it's not hard to find it. Come on, everybody, I'll meet you there. I'm gonna meet you in the morning before the world begins. Give up the same old story, start all over again. Said I'll meet you there. That's right, move that energy. I'm gonna meet you there, yes. There's a feeling I can't describe, a destination you'll recognize. Come on, everybody, I'll meet you there, yeah. Saying it's the gift we resist the most, but it's the place that we wanna go. Come on, everybody, I'm gonna meet you there. Hey, I'm gonna meet you Sunday morning before the world begins. Give up the same old story, start all over again. I'm gonna meet you there. Yeah, I'm gonna meet you there. That's right. Come on, Greg, break it down. Ha! Said City Side on Sunday morning, coming together to feel this high vibe, yeah. All this love in the room together. Oh, don't you recognize now? Come on. There's a place that I often go where I can find peace and rest my soul. Come on, everybody, I'm gonna meet you there. Yes, I'm gonna meet you Sunday morning before the world begins. Give up the same old story, start up over again. We're gonna meet you there. That's right, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. Yeah, I'll meet you there. Said I'm gonna meet you at City Side on Sunday morning. Yes, meet you there. All right. Thank you for those claps. All that beautiful air energy. It's coming to me, coming back at you to ignite your spirit this morning. So I want you to take a minute, get into that area of intention for yourself about what today is for you. I really love the lyric to that opening song. I'll meet you in the morning before the world begins. Give up the same old story to start all over again. I'll meet you there as you will meet yourself there. So breathe that in, close your eyes if you wish. Take in these lyrics to let go and let God. I couldn't seem to fall asleep. There was so much on my mind, searching for that peace, but the peace that I could not find. So then I kneeled down to pray. Pray, won't you help me, please? Then you said, you don't have to cry. 'cause I'll supply your needs, yes. As soon as I stopped worrying how the story ends, I let go and I let God have its way. That's when things start happening, when I stopped looking at back then. Said I let go, I let God have its way. There's so much going on, sometimes I can't find my way, and oftentimes I struggle. Said I struggle from day to day. I had to realize it's not my battle. Said it's not my battle to fight. Had to know that if I put it in your hands, oh, everything would be all right. As soon as I stopped worrying how my story ends, I let go and I let God have his way. That's when things start happening, when I stopped looking at back then. I let go and I let God have his way. I let go, let God, I let go. Said I let God, I let go. Oh, I let God, said I let go. I let God have its way. Yes, said I let go. As soon as I stopped worrying how the story ends, I let go and I let God have its way. That's when things start happening. I started looking back at them. I let go and I let God have its way. I let go, I let God, I let go, let go, let God, let go, let God. Said I let go, said I let go, I let God, yes, I let go, I let God. Soon as I stopped worrying, that's when things started happening. Said I let go, I let God, I let God have his way.
It's windy up here today. Good morning, Cityside. Papers are flying. Thank you, music team. That was beautiful. That was one of those songs that just built up for me in energy. It started out beautiful and it just went from there. So thank you. Welcome to our Sunday morning service and celebration. My name is Aimee Hollander, and I'm one of your community members here. It's so nice to see so many faces in the room today, so we just want to welcome you here in the room, welcome you online. If you're online and you live nearby or you're in the area, please consider coming down to join us in person. We'd love to have you in the room. You can follow along with our Sunday bulletin today by scanning the QR code that you had on your seat if you're in the room, or it'll be on the screen if you're joining us online. And we invite everyone to spread the word about Cityside, to share links, post, check in, invite people by word of mouth, just letting your community know that our community is here. At Cityside, we embrace new thought and wisdom teachings, and we're affiliated with the Centers for Spiritual Living. We honor all paths and provide a supportive community where you can explore your own individual spiritual path, wherever you might be on that in any given week. As part of the service, we have one of our licensed spiritual practitioners, John Adams. He's in the back of the room today holding vigil, which is just really a meditative state where he opens a sacred space for us to just go deeper in our practice and in our being able to allow and absorb the just perspectives and information that we hear shared here in the service. So our February theme is Love in Real Life, and the book we have been reviewing is The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. You know, I think about how love is portrayed in music and movies and books and even our imaginations, and kind of how we play out stories in our heads and all kinds of relationships with love, whether it's with people or nature or spirit, and how different that can be from love in real life and how it actually plays out as a story versus in reality. So I love this theme, and today I'm very much looking forward to Reverend Aimee Daniels. She's giving her talk, Awareness, Choice, Real Love. But before we get to that, we're just going to take a few minutes, especially nice today because there's so many faces in the room, and just greet each other. You can check in online and drop notes in the comments, and just share with each other in this sort of heart of winter where, you know, the holidays are past. Groundhog Day said it was going to be a little bit of a long winter. What do you do at this time of year to just have a little bit of fun and get yourself through the next 6 weeks of winter? And if you can start making your way back to your seats, we're going to wrap up here. We have a lot of good conversation here today, but we're going to move in now to our vision and mission statement. If you're, yeah. I need a bell or a horn or something. I can't argue with the connection. I love that everybody's out enjoying each other. Yeah, chatting it up. Too many good stories out there. So if you guys can get to the vision and mission statement, if you wanted to follow along on the bulletin, we're going to speak that aloud together now. We envision a diverse and empowered community that is practicing unconditional love in action. Our mission is to create safe and inclusive spaces to explore and deepen our faith, grow in spiritual consciousness, and express our authentic nature.
Hello, I'm Reverend Judy Randiger-Meza. I'm here to offer our reading, a brief meditation, and a blessing to open our service. And this is the reading from Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. Once we have awareness, we have a choice. If we could have that awareness all the time, we could change our routines, change our reactions, and change our entire life. Once we have the awareness, we recover free will. When we recover free will, in any moment we can choose to remember who we are. Then, if we forget, we can choose again, if we have the awareness. But if we don't have the awareness, we have no choice. Becoming aware is about being responsible for your own life. You are not responsible for what is happening in the world. You are responsible for yourself. You didn't make the world the way it is. The world was already the way it is before you were born. You didn't come here with a great mission, an important mission. The real mission you have in life is to make yourself happy, and in order to be happy, you have to look at what you believe, the way you judge yourself, the way you victimize yourself. Everything is there for us, but we need to have the courage to open our eyes, to use the truth, and to see what really is. So now I'm going to invite us all to close our eyes or have a soft gaze. Go within in a way that is most comfortable for you. And just contemplate these words. Notice that awareness that lives inside you of the truth of who you really are. So now as we stay in that place of awareness, that place of connection, I just offer this word of blessing upon our service, just recognizing the oneness that is here in this room, the oneness that connects us all in this spirit of love, this spirit of peace, this spirit of joy, wholeness, and perfection. I know this Spirit lives within me. It is the truth of who I am, and I am never separate from it. And I know this for each and every person here in this room, those that are watching on live stream, and all those who will connect with this service at a later time, that we are all part of this oneness, of this wholeness, of this peace and love and joy that I call God. And so I know in this oneness, in this place of connection, that this service just is full of blessings and full of grace and full of love for each and every one of us. And so I bless all those who have come together to make this service possible, our music team, our tech team, those who are here to help us set up and break down, all of our volunteers. I bless John as he holds vigil for us, and Aimee as she hosts. And I bring a special blessing upon Reverend Aimee as she has made herself available, made herself aware of this presence within her that is guiding her in her talk today, and she has opened herself up to that presence so that the words that flow through her are those that are most need to be said, are most need to be heard, and each of us receives them in the way that we most need. And so I bless this service, I bless our wider Cityside community, I call it all good, and together we say, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you so much, Reverend Judy. So for today's feature, we have a special guest. And I'm going to introduce and bring up our Cityside community member, Mr. Jim Winton, and his friend Max, who will be performing the feature. I will let him share a little bit more. But Jim has been a Cityside member for about 2 years now, and coming in from Virginia, right? Moved here from Virginia. And then he plays guitar and sings and loves the soul genre. So he's going to do an original tune for you today. Put your hands together for Jim.
All right, how's it going, y'all? Good. So I'm Jim Winton. This is my guy Max. We play together. He's an incredible musician, guitarist. Very excited to be here. The song that I'm going to be singing today is called Higher. It's an original tune, and the idea of higher, of course, in the spiritual community is going higher in peace, going higher in love. And when I thought about the question of how do we go higher, right? Something came to mind from a book. Many of y'all know I always carry a book around. Every time I come in, I always have a book. So I wanted to quickly read something that I think gives an explanation for how to go higher. So this says, in order to go higher, first one has to get roots into the earth. Only then can you spread your branches into the sky like wings. Unless you have roots, you cannot spread your wings into the sky. The deeper the roots, the higher goes the tree, almost reaching to the stars. And so for me, that's just a reminder that when we're growing in consciousness, the goal, right, is to go deeper and deeper into ourselves in meditation, to go deeper and deeper. And normally, the deeper you go, the more grounded you are, the higher you can go. So this is Higher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes I feel down, but most times I feel up. I just wanna let you know you gotta fill your own cup. So come a little higher, reach out a little farther, just love a little longer. Focus on the person you wanna be. what you believe you receive. Yeah. Well, I just like to meditate and just sit down and feel. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now some people say chasing money is the way. Oh no, 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 no. And some people say more life is the way. That sounds about right, yeah, yeah, yeah. So just come a little higher, yeah. Smile a little brighter, yeah. Love a little harder, yeah. It's within you, yeah, I know. Come a little higher, yeah. Smile a little brighter, yeah. Love a little harder, yes. Reach a little farther, 'cause it don't take long for you to feel what I'm feeling, yes. The joy and the peace are yours for the taking. All you gotta do is receive. All you gotta do is release. Yeah, yeah. Years ago I had anxiety, fears about my sexuality. Couldn't shake the brain fog I was feeling. Called my family, couldn't help me. It was the worst time of my life. How did I get here? I had to make a change, yeah. Had to make a change. So I took a breath in and I took a breath out. Took a breath in and I took a breath out. Breathe in and I breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Out. Come a little higher, yeah. Smile a little brighter, yeah. Love a little harder, yes. It's within you, yeah, I know. Come a little higher, yeah. Smile a little brighter, yeah. Love a little harder, yes. Reach a little farther, 'cause it don't take long for you to feel what I'm feeling, yeah. The joy and the peace are yours for the taking. All you gotta do is receive. All you gotta do is release. Yeah, yeah. One more time, higher. Yeah. Come a little higher, yeah. Smile a little brighter, yeah. Love a little harder, yes. It's within you, yeah, I know. Come a little higher, yeah. Smile a little brighter, yeah. Love a little harder, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Thank you guys. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Wow, that was special, Jim. Thank you. That was just so touching. I have to recover myself here. And the kids went out in the hall with Judy to play, if just you're wondering why people are walking out the door. So, geez. This topic, real love, it's like I can't even do it justice. I just want to start by saying, I keep thinking about oh, you could talk about this, you could talk about that, you could talk about that, But what I really want to invite everyone into today is just for you to be checking in with yourself, where you're at on your journey, and to begin, as Jim beautifully sang to us, I'm like, he gave my talk, to step into something bigger, right? To step in through our practice into realizing that there is something bigger that is happening and that we are part of this field of love, that we're not separate from it. And that's actually where the answers are. They're not mired in our human experience. So let's dive in. So we've been focusing on The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz this month. I love this book. I think he changed my life. I heard him speak about 20 years ago, and just the wisdom that this man has is incredible. And practical, too. I just want to say practical. Don't take anything personally, very practical. But he tells a story in the book about Artemis, who is the Greek goddess of the hunt, if you've ever studied Greek mythology. And she hunted effortlessly. She was so in tune with the forest. The forest loved her. And she didn't even really have to hunt because everything just came to her. And then one day, a king gave an order to Hercules to hunt the magical deer of Artemis. And he was undefeated, so he thought, hey, I can do this. This is not a problem for me. And he comes and he cannot capture this deer. This deer is elusive for him. So he goes to Hermes and says, I need to be faster. Then I'll be able to catch this deer. So Hermes gives him his wings or whatever he does, and he captures this magical deer of Artemis. And she was furious. She wanted to get even with him. She wanted to hunt him, and she basically did her best to capture him, but he was a very difficult prey. He was very fast. He was so free. She couldn't capture him. But in her mind, she believed she was in love with him, and she wanted him for herself. She became obsessed with him, and she was no longer happy. And she started to change. She was no longer in tune with the forest. The animals were afraid of her. And the forest started to reject her, but she didn't care because she didn't see the truth because of her obsession with Hercules. And he would come to the forest to see her, but every time he left, she would get jealous, she would get angry. She loved him, but she also hated him at the same time. And he had no awareness of this. He was just out hunting his prey, right? That's what he was doing. So one day Hermes came, having observed what was going on with Artemis, and he transformed himself into an animal. And she was just about to kill the animal. Artemis was just about to kill the animal. And Hermes transformed back into his god self. And in that moment, she had the awareness that she had lost all her wisdom and her connection to herself. And then she began to shift. And I don't know about anybody else, but I saw myself in that story. Don Miguel Ruiz says, as humans, we hunt for love. We feel we need love because we don't believe we have love, because we don't love ourselves. And when Artemis became aware of her fall, she went back to herself because everything she needed, as Jim sang to us, was inside of her. And so the same is true for all of us. We need to look within. So I said I saw myself in the story. I'm sad to admit this, but I think I had at least one relationship where I was obsessed with the person. And I think it was because I was trying so hard to be who they wanted me to be, who was not who I was, right? We were just different. Doesn't make the other person bad or wrong. He's a really good person, but we didn't want the same thing. We didn't have the same story, or as Don Miguel Ruiz would say, the same dream for our lives, right? And my brother and sister-in-law visited last week, which was great because I had only seen my brother twice since COVID started. And Rich asked my sister-in-law, she asked both of them, he asked both of them, but my sister-in-law answered, how am I different from other people that Aimee's been with? And my sister-in-law said, she's more herself. And I started to think about that, and it made me realize how much I had not been myself until I found this teaching, because I thought I wasn't okay. I thought if I could just be perfect enough or good enough or, whatever enough you want to put behind it, that would be the key for me. And so I'm grateful for this teaching because it helped shift it for me. And as spiritual people, who we are is the spirit within us, the light, whatever your word is, this bigger energy field that we are part of. And I think what makes being in relationship, whatever kind, whether it's an intimate relationship, it's your relationship with your kids or your parents or your siblings or your friends, I think what makes it tricky is we're so rooted in our physical world of form, right? We can forget who we are as spiritual beings because we're so related to the experience we're having right now. And we could talk about this for days, probably. We'd have a great time sharing our stories, right? And what we realize, because we all have them. And we're all still working on them, by the way, right? I had a realization on the way in about someone in my family I'm struggling with. It's like funny how that works, just popped into my head. So here's the 3 things we're going to talk about today. The first one is awareness. The second one is choice. And the third one is tapping into real love. So, as we heard in the story of Artemis, our connection to self-love, to our spirit, whatever we want to call that place within ourselves, it's already whole, perfect, and complete. Nothing needs to be changed, right? That part of us lacks nothing, and it's beyond our human personality and the world of form. I thought it was interesting in the meditation before service, Judy said, I forgot she's out of the room, I was looking for her. She said, you can come back into your personality. I thought that was funny because when we step into our spirit, we step out of our personality. So our awareness starts with being honest with ourselves about where we're at. Has anyone besides me ever not been honest with yourself? Right? Okay. Sometimes being honest with ourselves is hard because it forces us to change, or it forces us to change the conditions in our life. And sometimes we don't feel emotionally prepared for that, right? It's okay, maybe things aren't perfect, but I'm safe and comfortable where I am. I don't want to change things, right? And, the story I shared about the relationship I was in, I think I was so focused on the outside stuff, right? Like satisfying the outside stuff, that I had completely lost my inside stuff. And it really impacted my self-esteem. And, people tried to tell me, by the way, many people in my life tried to tell me, but I wasn't ready to face the truth of that yet. And this teaching really helped me to shift. So where in your life do you need to start telling yourself the truth? And you don't have to make yourself wrong. You can just notice it. You can just hold it lightly. But it could be any relationship. And here's some things you might want to look at. Look at any place where you think that your happiness depends on someone else and their acceptance or how they behave. Or maybe where you feel like your happiness depends on a certain outcome, right? Maybe you're taking too much responsibility for other people, for their behavior and their actions and their experience. Or maybe you're trying to fix them or fix their problems. Look for any place you just don't feel good, where you feel drained. Any place that you just kind of feel like, And just to be clear, I'm not suggesting you make anybody else wrong. I'm just asking you to look at how are you being, right? And how is it feeling for you to be living the way you're being? And what I'm inviting you to do is to step into your own awareness of how you're being with yourself and with others, and just ask the question, is this working for me? Don Miguel Ruiz says, you're responsible for the consequences of whatever you do, think, say, or feel. Perhaps it's hard for you to see what actions cause the consequence, what emotions, what thoughts, but you can see the consequences because you're either suffering the consequence or you're enjoying the consequence. You control your personal dream, which is basically how he refers to the life that you're creating, the story you're creating for your life. And you control your personal dream by making choices. So you have to see if the consequences of your choices are working for you. And if they are, keep doing what you're doing. And if they're not, it's just an invitation to change. And that's how you transform. So just one other thing I want to say about relationships, because I think this is a more practical thing, but I think I've realized, like, we all have our story about how life is supposed to be. And sometimes in relationship, and it even happens in families, right? Like, as families grow and evolve and kids get older, sometimes the parents want it to stay the same as it's always been and the kids want it to evolve. But it's true in relationships. Like, are you creating a story together? And if your stories are a little different, can you just accept the person as they are? And can they just accept you as you are? I think that's what I've learned. That's what I've learned by the School of Hard Knocks. So what are the consequences in your life that you don't like right now? And where do you want to shift? And let's talk about some spiritual tools that can help us cultivate awareness. Jim mentioned meditation in his song. To me, prayer is a great one, because when I'm in a place where maybe I'm not feeling great, sometimes I haven't even unpacked what's going on with me yet, right? But someone else will pray for me and they'll say one word and I'll be like, oh, that's what it is, right? And somehow, besides freeing up the energy, which we know that prayer shifts the energy, it also can really free up our minds. And I've seen God move my life, spirit, whatever, the energy, whatever word you like. I don't like to use triggering words, but I've seen my life move unexpectedly by a prayer. Like this relationship I was just telling you about, I was between my first and second year of prac training, and it was a big issue because he said, "You're not a Christian anymore." And I'm like, "No, I'm in everything now," But it was a real issue for him, and he almost like laid it down as a gauntlet to me, like, I don't think I can be with you if you continue on this path. And I'm like, this is not a choice for me. Like, this is a calling for me. And the day before my second day of prac training, he broke up with me. And I'm like, I was so stunned. I'm like, God spoke to me, and God just moved the energy of my life. And that's what prayer does, because I didn't have the answers. I didn't know what I should do. And I could give you 7,000 stories about how prayer has shifted things for me. But I think prayer's a really good one. If you need something that's a little more being and a technique to help you shift, I think the work of Byron Katie is brilliant, right? Just to take you away from your thinking, or Colin Tipping, Radical Forgiveness, also really great. And, also working with a practitioner. But one other thing I want to say, in our teaching, it's also super tempting to always be excavating. Like, I have to discover what's wrong with me. I have to find my hidden belief. And once I find that, everything will shift forever. But what I want to offer up here is, you don't have to fix yourself. If you are in your spiritual practice, it's going to start to happen, right? It's really all about trusting the spirit that was smart enough to create all of this, that was smart enough to create your life for you, that spirit is going to take care of you. And that spirit is going to lead you where you are meant to go. And I like how Joe Dispenza also talks about our experience in the world of form, and then our experience as a spiritual self. And he really relates this to healing, but just tripping over the cord today. I don't know what's up with that. But the idea is this, like, when we're super related to our human form, then we feel that things are very fixed in our lives, right? We feel they can't change because we're very in the circumstances of what's happening. And when we can open our broader awareness through meditation and other spiritual practices and realize, like, I am literally light energy. That is what I am. That is what, to me, love is. It's light energy. And that as I can expand the light energy, which we do in meditation, my life will start to shift. And it may be that there are people in your life now that you just notice they start to move away from you. It's okay. It's not energetically resonant, right? And we all fear change. Like, oh my God, this, Joe Dispenza tells a story. about someone he was working with who started meditating, and then the guy got fired. And the guy's like, this meditation is clearly not working. And then he said, or maybe it's working perfectly. How do you know? And then the guy got a better job, met the love of his life and whatever. So we never know why things are happening. We just have to trust that they're happening for us. If it's happening to us, it's happening for us. And I've always found it helpful. I don't even know who said this originally, but like people, and we could say experiences too, come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And the human part of us that's afraid of change always wants everything to be a lifetime. But sometimes the change ends up being the blessing, right? That we could never have anticipated, truly. And when I think about the great spiritual teachers too, like I think about Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad. I think about a few who have left us recently, Thich Nhat Hanh and Desmond Tutu, who I loved both of them. I think they impacted people because they had been able to tap into that bigger field of love and awareness that we are part of, as Jim sang, to go higher. That's magnifying the light and love within yourself when you do that. That's the divine presence. And that's what we're really going for, to be fully realized as our spiritual selves and to do this through love. And, sometimes the word love can seem so amorphous because we use it so many different ways. Even if you just replace the word with kindness, which is what the Dalai Lama teaches, like kindness is my religion, he always says, am I being kind to myself? Am I being kind to others? Am I acting in ways that build the relationship or break the relationship, right? And just to give yourself some grace too, because none of us are perfect. We all have our moments, especially when we're tired and burnt out and blah, 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 blah. But just to hold it all with a sense of grace, right? To assume that other people are doing the best that they can do. I had lunch with a friend of mine this week, and his wife literally ghosted him. He was out with his kids on Father's Day, and he came home and she was gone. This was a couple of years ago, and she has not spoken to him since then. And so imagine going through that, just like, I don't know why that happened to me, whatever, but like, I'm really proud of him because he's doing really well. He's like, I don't know why, right? And so the reason I share that story is people are on their own journeys. Sometimes they do things we don't know why they did, we're never going to understand why. What we can know is like, okay, well, that person's not on this next part of my journey. And I know because I'm my spiritual self, I know I'm going to be okay, right? And the Toltec tradition created something called the mastery of transformation. And the basic idea is that we want to break free of the old dreams, so we might want to break free of the past, right? We want to create a new and broadened experience of living and loving and whatever. And they say there are two types of people. There's dreamers who know that this life that we're living on earth is an illusion. It sounds pretty Buddhist to me, right? It's an illusion, like our true reality is our spiritual reality. And then there's the stalkers who are like predators, right? Who are like, the jaguar or the tiger chasing someone. And those two ways of being are really about how we're being in the world. So I was really touched by the fact that Jim sang in his song about like chasing money, right? To me, the dreamers are the people who believe in the bigger spiritual world of love. The stalkers are the people who are very involved in winning, right? And so just realizing that we get to make a choice. We get to make a choice. How are we going to live? How am I going to live? And am I going to make a conscious choice to try to love, to try to accept, to try not to judge, to not step into this energy of againstness, which seems to be everywhere in our collective consciousness right now, to not go there on judgment. I hear my mom's voice in my head too, by the way, when I want to say something mean, or judgy. I'm like, I keep hearing my mom say, if you can't say something nice, Aimee, don't say anything at all, right? But just to stop ourselves from going there. So who do you want to be? That's my challenge to who do you want to be? We all have good moments, we all have bad moments, but like if we're doing our practice, we can make a choice when we encounter a bad or challenging moment or when we're struggling in relationship. We can make a choice. And as Judy read to us, once we have awareness, we have a choice. And if we could have that awareness all the time, we could change our routines, our reactions, and our entire life. Once we have awareness, we recover free will. And when we recover free will in any moment, we can choose to remember who we are. I love that. So being aware is about being responsible for your life. And you're only responsible for yourself and how you're being. That's all you're responsible for. And, if someone's listening to me right now and you're not in a good place, I want to say, I think we've all been there. And this is why you need to lean into community and ask for prayer and ask for support, because that is the power of having a community. Like, you love me and support me when I'm not in a good place, and I do the same for you when you're not in a good place. That's really what it's all about. So, love is who you are, and love is what you are a part of, but we need to practice this. We need to choose it. Stephen Covey said, love's a verb. We can choose to be loving. We can choose to act with kindness. And we can choose to act with care. And romantically, we think of love as an emotion, right? It's like, this is how I'm feeling, but it's really, it's a verb, and if we're in a place where we can't have that level of generosity to offer it, well, that's an insight too, right? Like, what's going on underneath that? So it's really about trying to see the other person in their wholeness and just allowing spirit to come in when there's discord, right? Have you ever had that experience? You're so mad and upset with somebody, and then all of a sudden the energy just shifts and it's like, oh, there it is. There's the love that I forgot about in my anger. Have you had that experience? So being right, being in judgment, needing to win, all of these things are not love. And the dream we want to call in together, which is real love, is the world that works for everyone. That's the CSL Global Heart Vision, a world that works for everyone. And that starts with each of us doing our own work. And I know that that's challenging right now because the last couple years, I think, you can't look anywhere without seeing people fight, right? About, this, I'm right, you're wrong, you're a loser, like what people say about each other is shocking to me sometimes. But what we're really trying to do is heal our own sense of separation. How can I be curious about someone who's different from me, right? How can I just understand their point of view? I don't have to agree with it. How can I just stay curious? How can I just keep my heart open? That's my invitation, because that's real love. When your heart is open, you're available, right? That's my invitation. So we're going to go in now to a short meditation, and this is just to open your heart a little bit and to expand the energy of love. So just put your hand or both your hands on your heart. And I just invite you to breathe in and then breathe out. And just breathe in and just breathe out. And as you just allow your breathing to become natural, just notice the sense of well-being that you have when you go within to this place of peace. And just be aware that you can do this anytime and anywhere. And that's how you can take care of yourself. And just begin to become aware of the field of energy within you. And you may begin to feel it extending out from you. And just send that field of energy, that field of love out into the room. And just know this connection of love that is the truth. Beyond your physical form, your energy extends out, and it is the truth of your being. And just notice the spaciousness of this. And just fill this field of energy with loving intention. And then expand your awareness beyond this room and just send out this loving intention to our city. Send out this loving intention to our country. And send out this loving intention to the world. Love, kindness, collaboration, cooperation, oneness. So from this place of love, this place of oneness with Spirit, I just recognize this love is the truth of all. This love is my truth. Love is the truth of each person hearing my words. This love is the truth of life itself. And so from this place of oneness, I speak my word, my intention for all of us, that we live in this presence and power of love, that we allow our energy of love to go out into the world and to heal the world, to heal our relationships, to heal ourselves, that we recognize our true nature and that we are uplifted by it, and that we uplift others as we offer love and kindness and acceptance. I know that God's got this. I know that the higher presence and power of Spirit is bringing forth deeper connection, deeper love, deeper care. And I know for each of us, a deep and profound realization more and more all the time. I know that as you turn to Spirit, Spirit turns to you. And as you say yes to love, love says yes to you. This is the truth that I'm knowing and affirming for all of us. And I give thanks for this, knowing this prayer is fulfilled. And with so much gratitude, I say, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Aimee. That was wonderful talk. As I was listening to Jim sing this morning and Aimee's talk, what kept coming to my mind, I was on the way, I had picked my kids up from school this week, and my 7-year-old said to me, "Mama, did you know kindness changes the world? Kindness can change the world?" I said, wow. And it's like those little moments where you just think, thank you. Yes, I know that, but I wasn't consciously thinking about that. And as Aimee was talking, I was thinking of that being synonymous with love, and love changes the world, and it can really change us inside and out. So I just love the perspective that you offered. Thank you. Today's service has just been so, I've really just enjoyed the energy in the room, the music from our music team and from Jim and Max, and just the perspectives. And I just so appreciate services like these and having everyone here and online. And just recognizing how much goes into putting together a service like this. I see the service team growing, the music team growing. So much about Cityside is just really, I think, seeking to grow right now. And as a part of that, there's such a concrete element to that. And that brings us to our time of offering, in that we're a community-supported organization. So each week we have this conscious giving practice that just allows us to make this kind of service and other offerings available to this community. So we have a few ways that you can give. You can use the QR code on the sheet or on the screen. You can text to give. You can also donate. If you're here in person, there's a box over here. And we really appreciate your gifts. So please join me in our giving affirmation as we bless these gifts. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am.
It's like a diamond ring is a precious thing, and we never want to lose it. It's like a favorite song that we love to sing. Every time that we hear the music, and don't you know we're in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. Hey, oh, we're in this love together. It's like berries on the vine. It gets sweeter all the time.
If you're joining us for the first time today, we sincerely want to welcome you and thank you for being here. You can subscribe to our newsletter by following the link in the bulletin, or you can do that by visiting our website. So special thanks today to the Sunday team that came together and made this today's service possible. Keith and Dom in the back, Tiffany, Nora, Greg, Jim, Max, Mina, Jason, John, Reverend Judy, Paige, Reverend Linda, and Reverend Aimee. You can join us next week as we honor Cityside's volunteers and complete this February theme, Love in Real Life, with speaker Reverend Linda Jackson. And finally, if you'd like to receive additional prayer following the service, Reverend Judy will be in the back of the room. And if you're joining us online, you can request prayer through the website on the support tab. So Cityside, with that, until next week, stay warm, stay connected, stay healthy and safe, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thank you so much, Aimee, for hosting today. Thank you, Reverend Aimee. Aimee times #2 today. I also just want to give another shout out to Jim. Jim and Max's soul band will be performing on May 13th at the Gallery Cabaret. Yes, it's a couple months away, but pop that in your calendar. May 13th, correct? Wonderful. And speaking of higher, beautiful, Jim, thank you so much for sharing your talent. I felt some Marvin Gaye stirring in your spirit. So thank you for your beautiful lyrics and your inspired tune today. It was wonderful. All right, y'all, stand up. Come on. Your love is lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quench my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. Sing with me, City. You know your love keeps lifting me. What? Come on now, lifting me higher and higher. I said your love keeps lifting me. What? Yes, lifting me higher and higher. Now I was downhearted. Disappointment was my closest friend. But then you came, soon it all departed. And you know it never showed its face again. I know your love keeps lifting me. What keeps on lifting me higher and higher? Yes, that one you know, the God in me. And I throw my loving arms around you. I can stand up and face the world you see. Sing, you know your love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me, lifting me higher and higher. I said your love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me, lifting me higher and higher. Break it down, Gregor. I said your love, what? You better sing. Keeps on, what? Higher and higher. What? I said your love, yes, keeps on lifting me higher and higher. I said your love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me higher and higher. I said your love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me higher and higher. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday.